Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Food is Medicine, so let's get cooking. My name's Hannah. I'm a fourth-year medical student. I'll actually be a doctor officially this week. Maybe around the time that this is posted, I have graduation coming up this week, and I'm so excited. So I'll be a resident physician very soon. And welcome back, to Food is Medicine, so let's get cooking. I love to make healthy, delicious recipes in the kitchen that are super affordable while kind of informing you about the health benefits along the way. So today we are making a DASH diet-friendly barley breakfast bowl. We're going to talk first about what the DASH diet is, as well as what hypertension is, and why that's important. We're going to put together this bowl that is DASH diet friendly. I'm going to include the guidelines of what the DASH diet specifically entails in the description, as well as the ingredients. You can also find both of these on my website, and I'm also going to include the ingredients at the beginning of this video. But we're going to talk about that. And then after we cook, I'm going to mention some other ways that you can help to improve your blood pressure and kind of lower those numbers if that is a concern from you. So of course, always evidence-based. I'm hoping that, maybe if your physician has mentioned, oh yeah, like your blood pressure is a little high, maybe try out the DASH diet. That can feel super overwhelming to have kind of a more limited diet. So I am going to try and make hopefully a little bit of a series of different recipes that you can incorporate into your diet that follow the DASH diet that will be good for your blood pressure. Of course, everyone's different, but this is hopefully a recipe that you can use and you find it super easy to kind of meal prep. So let's get started. As always, I like to have a drink in the kitchen, a nice healthy drink. So today, I actually found this at Trader Joe's today when I was getting the ingredients for this recipe. It is lemon and ginger juice in carbonated water. I've had this before at a friend's place for dinner, and it is so good. So pouring this in a wine glass as always. As you all know by now, if you've been here before, watched my videos, I just think this makes the cooking experience so fun to have something to sip on. Oh my gosh, the ginger is like my favorite thing. It's starting to feel like summer here and it's so good. Hence the shell earrings and really colorful shirt as well. I love it. So if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe so I can, so you can follow more content like this. I'm just starting this channel and it's been so fun to see it grow already. So thank you so much to everyone who is returning, who is supporting, and who's subscribed already. Feel free to subscribe for more content like this. I'm planning on doing more DASH diet friendly recipes, but also just more fun, healthy recipes in general. So be sure to check out prior videos. And with that, let's get started. So the DASH diet. What does it mean? So it actually stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. And so if you, went to your family medicine physician's office and say your blood pressure was elevated, this is an intervention that you can do that's evidence-based, that has been shown to help decrease the systolic blood pressure. That's the first number over the lower number. So like say 120 over 80, systolic blood pressure is that 120. It's been shown to decrease that by about 6 to 11 millimeters of mercury in both patients with hypertension as well as with patients that did not have any hypertension, normotensive. So it's been an effective approach to decrease blood pressure overall. So it's a wonderful intervention. Say you don't want to start, blood pressure medication yet, or, you want to find a more natural way without medication to decrease your blood pressure. Of course, if it's very elevated, don't recommend that. But if it's, you're trying to just get it under control, it's a great intervention and some doctors will recommend that. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of, this recipe follows those guidelines. It's very plant focused. So it promotes kind of eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, a lot of grains, legumes, getting your protein from, lean meats, fish. You can get tofu, nuts, grains, all those kind of things. So that's kind of the focus of it. It's kind of limiting sodium. You want to keep your sodium under 2,400 milligrams per day. And this diet, because it has so many plants, it's rich in things like calcium, magnesium, and potassium, which can help with blood pressure, help the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, and basically can help that to dilate and just kind of increase that function overall, which can also help with blood pressure. Okay, and also before we get started, I wanted to define what hypertension is. So hypertension is having a blood pressure persistently at or above 130 over 80 millimeters of mercury. So that's 130 is the systolic blood pressure that you'll hear about, And then the 80 is the diastolic blood pressure you'll hear about. So that's persistently at or above that number. And blood pressure or hypertension is actually sometimes called the silent killer. And that may sound super morbid, but it really is, because a lot of patients won't have symptoms of high blood pressure. You might not feel it. You might be feeling great, but you may be living with blood pressure that is too elevated. And that increases your risk for a lot of cardiovascular disease. And cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in America. So hypertension, on a positive note, it is a modifiable risk factor. So decreasing our blood pressure can help to improve and decrease our risk for cardiovascular disease, which, as we know, that is such a scary thing to have, and it, can hurt so many people. And so that's something that it's so important to keep our blood pressure under control. See your family medicine physician or your whatever physician you see for those kind of things. Make sure you're following up regularly, taking care of yourself, and really making sure that you know what your blood pressure typically is and that you're keeping it under control. So with that, let's get started. This is a wonderful way to help to decrease your blood pressure using the DASH diet, okay? So we're going to start with barley. I wanted to include barley because the DASH diet really wants to focus on whole grains that are rich in fiber, rich in minerals and all that, and I love barley. So this is pearled barley. I basically took 1 cup of dry pearled barley. I boiled it in water, 3 cups of water. So you want to do 3 parts water, 1 part barley. And I did that for about half an hour until it was fully cooked. This produced about 3 cups of barley. So I'm going to be able to store the rest for later. I'm going to just take a cup of this. This is my half cup measuring cup. I'm going to take a half cup of this barley, and I'm going to put it in this bowl, or a full cup in this bowl, 2 half cups. The reason I like barley, it's got a really chewy texture, really rich in fiber, rich in a lot of those minerals that we want in that DASH diet to really help with our blood pressure. And it tastes so good, and it's just kind of a unique grain to incorporate, and I love to incorporate. I love the taste. It has a lower glycemic index than oats, and overall it's just really filling and satiating to me. So the rest of the barley I'm going to save for tomorrow for breakfast, right? So we have this. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of chia seeds. Okay. This is a nice way to incorporate healthy fat, a little bit extra protein, and also omega-3s, yeah, the healthy fat that I mentioned. So omega-3s are one of those heart-healthy fats. And so, of course, if we're doing a DASH diet, it's nice to have those heart-healthy fats in there. So we added some chia. With the DASH diet, as I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that you're keeping your sodium limited, because increased sodium intake, basically water follows sodium. And so when you're eating a lot of sodium, you're going to have higher sodium in your body. Water is going to follow that, and that can increase your blood pressure. So actually incorporating more potassium through plant-rich foods and decreasing your sodium is huge. So we're not adding any salt in this recipe. And to make it have really good flavor, you're not even going to miss it with this recipe. We're going to add some spices. So we're adding some, I'm going to put the cap back on. We're adding some cinnamon, about like half a teaspoon on top. It's going to be a really warm, flavorful bowl, okay? So we're adding some cinnamon, and then we're adding just a little pinch of cloves. It adds kind of a nice warm flavor as well. And honestly, if you're just starting out with the DASH diet, you might miss sodium at first. Of course, a little bit, but you want to keep it under that 2,400 milligrams that's recommended. And so incorporating other spices can help satisfy those taste buds. If you want to use potassium salt as well, you can do that. That's also an option. But of course, we all need a little bit of sodium, but we don't want too much. And typically in the standard American diet, there is a lot of sodium. So this is a great way to kind of make you feel good having different spices, and it's super flavorful, but it doesn't have that sodium, which is wonderful. Okay. Of course, if you're not following the DASH diet and you're just cooking this because it's healthy, like that's great too. This is something that, I'm not worried about my blood pressure, but I just want to use this as preventative medicine, and it's just a really delicious meal. But I just want you guys who are trying to follow a DASH diet or trying to help you with your blood pressure know that this follows that, and it's evidence-based, and it can really help. Okay. So then we're going to add just about like a half cup of soy milk. You can use like a low-fat milk or, any sort of milk that you prefer. Just want to make sure that's low in saturated fat and you're not using too much of it. Okay. So we have about a half of a cup in here. And then we're going to microwave this for just like a minute or so, okay? So I'm going to plop this in the microwave, and then I will tell you guys. Let's see. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about kind of hypertension in general. So there's other things you can do for hypertension. So as I mentioned, you want to make sure that you see your primary care physician or whoever's monitoring your blood pressure. There's so many things that can cause it. A lot of the time, it can, like interventions like the DASH diet or stopping smoking or decreasing alcohol or exercising, things like that, even biofeedback, or meeting with your doctor, and if you think you might have sleep apnea, getting that tested are all great steps to make towards decreasing your blood pressure. There's also some of my favorite medications that I've learned about in medical school have been blood pressure medications, just because of the genius behind how they work, and they can really, really help to decrease your blood pressure as well. So making sure that you're meeting with your doctor. Weight loss is also a really interesting one, in losing about 10 kilograms, if you need to lose weight, of course, but if you're, losing about 10 kilograms of body weight, which is 22 pounds, it's been shown to decrease systolic blood pressure by about 5 to 20 millimeters of mercury. So if managing your weight is difficult and weight loss is something that your doctor might recommend, that might also be a way to help to decrease your blood pressure. So just some interventions you can use. I want to stress that blood pressure is very modifiable for most people, assuming you don't have some other complicated cause of the blood pressure, which does occur in some people. But, this is super modifiable. So it's a risk factor for cardiovascular disease, but it's very modifiable. So I hope that, hearing that gives you a sense of agency, that there's so many different things you can do that are evidence-based and have been shown to really help with blood pressure. Okay, so we have our lovely barley. It's kind of like a bowl of oats, but it's different. Like, I just kind of like that it just feels different than like a bowl of oatmeal. It's really satiating and really good. I can already smell it. Really good flavors. Taking another sip of my ginger lemon. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I love it. So I also included, to kind of top off our lovely barley breakfast bowl that follows a DASH diet, I wanted to include a banana, as well as your choice of berries, and then also a nut of choice. I wanted to include walnuts because they're a great source of omega-3s. Okay, so I'm going to get those ingredients and then come back and we're going to assemble it. So first we're going to start off with the walnuts. I'm just including about 1/4 cup of walnuts just to put on top. This will really help to kind of increase the fat content. Nuts are really, really good overall, good source of like magnesium and those nutrients that can really help. And the omega-3s, again, very heart healthy fat to have. So we added some walnuts, just about 1/4 cup. The DASH diet recommends, doing a small quantity, so everything in moderation. I'll include the specific guidelines of, the amount of different things you want in the DASH diet in the description, okay? But we have our walnuts here. I also have a banana. Let me grab a knife. Okay. And so I included in the recipe that you guys will see, I included a whole banana because I want to make sure, choose as much as you want. Like if you want a half banana, I might just assemble a half of a banana on here. But a banana is one of those things that is super rich in potassium and fiber and just really good for you overall. And so as we're trying to get, our potassium instead of sodium in the DASH diet, I thought a banana would kind of be a nice example. Okay, so I'm going to assemble this banana. Probably about half of a banana is all I'm going to want on here. Right on top. I'll show you guys the final product. I'm really excited to have this. It already smells so good. Again, I don't want, healthy food to feel boring, And then I also included in the recipe, I wanted you guys to pick your berry of choice. Berries are really good, low glycemic index, rich in fiber, rich in just nutrients in general, and polyphenols and things that are just so good for your overall health. Great way to incorporate color and plants into your diet. So I had pre-washed some strawberries. So we're going to incorporate these lovely strawberries. And I also wanted to let you guys know, I think it's so interesting because we hear about, the Mediterranean diet, we hear about the blue zones and anti-inflammatory diets. And they also stress similar things like getting a lot of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and non-processed, sources of food, and plant-based sources of protein like beans and quinoa and tofu, but also lean meats every once in a while if meats are something that you eat, like chicken, getting some healthy sources of fat from your healthy fish and all that, and low fat dairy like yogurt, which is good for the gut if you tolerate dairy well. Other fermented things are great. And so I just think it's interesting because these diets that are evidence-based and shown to improve our health overall, they have so much overlap. So I think take with that what you will, but I really think that it's no coincidence that the DASH diet has been shown to help not only with blood pressure but also with blood sugar regulation. It's been shown to decrease the quote unquote, it's more complicated, but bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol. It's been shown to decrease triglycerides. It's been shown to help with weight. And so all these different things, the DASH diet, on top of being good for the blood pressure, it's also been shown to help with a lot of these metabolic risk factors that we see in chronic disease today. And the Mediterranean diet, for example, follows a similar dietary pattern in terms of the food it prioritizes. And so just thinking about that, you can kind of draw some correlations about, overall, for most people, it's probably really good to get your fruits and vegetables, whole foods, mostly plant-based. Of course, you can have some fish or some healthy meats or whatever feels good for you. Everyone is so different. So I thought that was super interesting just to kind of, really dive deep into the DASH diet and find the correlations with other healthy evidence-based diets as well. Okay, so we have our beautiful strawberries. Like, I love strawberries. These looked so good. I'm gonna try and make it look aesthetic for you guys. Usually I just like throw it on top. Okay. So, but of course, like, please don't use this as like medical advice. This is just me cooking in the kitchen, hopefully giving you some inspiration for like a nice way to kind of make this. But definitely talk with your doctor if you have high blood pressure. Again, it's a serious thing. And, even if you don't feel symptoms, it's good to know kind of what your blood pressure typically is around and that you're consistently following up with your doctor. Okay. So I hope this makes, that, warning from your doctor, hey, your blood pressure is a little high, maybe follow the DASH diet. I hope that makes this a little less stressful because you can be like, wow, I could have this beautiful breakfast every morning. So look at that. I feel like it looks so good. I don't want it to tilt, but I tried to make it aesthetic for you guys so you guys can feel fancy in your kitchen. It definitely, like, the eyes eat first. I feel like this looks really good. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to try and, I'm going to be making more videos in general. If you like this DASH diet type, or if you're interested in any other diets, kind of recipes that follow certain diets that you've been hearing about, definitely let me know in the comments if you find these helpful. I am going to try and incorporate some other DASH diet recipes, kind of some more savory ones if you want it for lunch or for dinner. I'm just going to try and make like a little series of this just to kind of help, anyone out who may be following the DASH diet. About half of Americans over the age of 20 have elevated blood pressure. So it really is a serious thing, and it's incredibly common. It's the main kind of chronic disease that family medicine physicians will be discussing with their patients. So anyway, just to stress the importance. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you found this fun, educational, not too scary. I tried to wear bright colors because, talking about things like hypertension can be kind of a stressful topic, but I hope we're lightening the mood, and I hope you guys feel a sense of agency while we're talking about these, kind of complex, more serious topics. But I hope that you guys enjoy this dish. Let me know if there's any other recipes or diets or nutrients that you're interested in, and we can talk about them in the comments. Again, I'm a growing channel, so please subscribe for more content like this so that you guys don't miss anything. And I would love to hear you guys' ideas, and I'll try to incorporate those in their future videos. We have one video coming out every week as of now. We'll see how it goes when residency starts, but I'm trying to, and I think it's so fun. So really, really enjoying, kind of cooking in the kitchen with you guys. So with that, I wanted to say thank you. Enjoy your meal, and food is medicine, so let's get cooking. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. It's time to dig in. I don't want to mess it up. It's so beautiful. So good. Really warm and cozy. and definitely very satiating. It's so good.